Yeah. Let's talk about Aakar. Let's talk about Aakar and its venture.
Right. Okay. So once again, officially, good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining in. It's wonderful. We've been doing these webinars in the pandemic, and over the last few weeks, we have got some really lovely, solutions. Some of the experts giving us ideas. This is one of the things we shared last time with that. How were your relationship before and after, and how you enjoy your kids without pressure? The best thing you can give them is a gift of time. Some of the things that we will do also with our speakers today, so they'll be prepared about it. I'll be your host and someone who will nag my speakers all the time, Dawood Waid. I work with education and some small areas, so I always summarize what the speaker said. Like one of the pointers that came about is child also needs a me time. So this was also on child psychology and a kind of pandemic, how anxiousness and depression goes to the kids. Plus we had a very interesting point about make story time more engaging. So these were all speaker summaries, the pointers that we did. Then speakers had their own choice of best Netflix movies that are binge watching. I'll come to Vidya ma'am and Bhagya ma'am, or what are you doing in your pandemic, by the way. So there was one from I think Poonam ma'am, is that right, Chandra ma'am? It was Poonam ma'am who said Annie with an E.
No, it was Rupa ma'am.
Rupa ma'am, yes, it was Rupa ma'am who said that. And this was our own favorite, Dr. Chandralata. She said The Good Doctor. Are you still watching it? Are you still binge watching it?
I finished long back.
You finished long back. All right. She's become the good doctor.
I watched Abdul Kalam, videos after I saw Ms. Poonam's recommendation last time.
You did that? Oh, right. So you should watch this movie, ma'am. It's called I Am Kalam.
Yeah, I did that.
Oh, lovely. Oh, so someone's following. Our experts are also following our webinars. Jitha ma'am, this is something interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. I have seen, I think, almost all the movies except Eddie the Eagle. I don't know.
Okay, so I think after Irfan Khan's demise, The Life of Pi became even more popular. And I did a little quiz and I asked a question on Irfan Khan and The Life of Pi. Mental Health Inside Out is a great movie. Eddie the Eagle, trust me, your kids will love the movie. If anyone's here watching into movies and all, so this is what we have done. A few of the speakers, some of you are back. Thank you so much from our last episode. We had on conscious parenting about power and skill, so 7 points. Anyone who wants to know the presentation, the pointers, message us. We've been getting a lot of inputs from you from on the Facebook and from the chats that we got, some of the books that we displayed. And yes, once we go that, this is where we are. So Aakar Child Development and Learning Center is in Navi Mumbai Seawoods. Deepika ma'am, I'll answer that. I'll ask Chandra ma'am if your attendance and certificates will be provided. Probably if you're doing all the series and you have a course you do with us, probably that's when we do the certificate course. This is more of a webinar. I'll let Chandra ma'am answer that. So Chandra ma'am, there's our panel, a participant Deepika ma'am who's asking, will there be certificates for these webinars?
No, not yet, because this is more of an information kind of a thing. So yes, we haven't given it out as any kind of certificates or anything.
Right. Thank you so much. And Richa ma'am, absolutely. Every seminar, the recordings are up on both Aakar and Sky Education channel. I will share the links also with you. So you can just go to Sky Education on YouTube, Sky Education TV, and you can go to Aakar. It's AA in the beginning and in the middle. And that is a Facebook page as well. So keep track of the Facebook. We put all the uploads there, and also the new webinars that are going to come up. And that is what Aakar is doing. In fact, one of the good news is Aakar has opened up partially in Seawoods for some of the kids who really need it. We've been doing a lot of webinars, a lot of real-time workshops in Navi Mumbai on inclusive education. Some great panelists, Kritika ma'am had come in. Some fantastic speakers have been coming in. Today's speaker, I'm excited about them. So this was one of the ones we did here in association with the college, right? So SPIS. So we did one on challenges faced by special educator in school. We had a panel coming in, and few of the panelists pictures you see around. Dr. Rupa addressed us on, she's from Umeed Child Development Center, one of the better ones. Every Mind Matters session on there. There is a founder out there. And today's session is joined by two wonderful people, great experts. Vidya ma'am, who is the founder of Poomkill Kids Speech Therapy. She is a speech language pathologist, a postgraduate in audiology and speech language pathology, worked as an audiologist in St. George National Hospital, London, and currently in Bangalore. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome, Vidya ma'am. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for a wonderful introduction. Good evening, everybody. As he said, I'm Poomkill Vidya. I'm a speech language pathologist and founder of, can you hear? I think.
Yes, ma'am. I will mute. Please go ahead. Can I request all the participants to mute themselves? Please, Harshila ma'am, please. Thank you.
Yeah, so as Mr. Dawood stated, I started my career from working in St. George's NHS in London. But as the life moved on, we came to Bangalore, and I worked in various setups before I started my, lightning in private practice. And I founded Ponmukil Kids Speech Therapy, and we are primarily catering to children under 7 years with children with language and speech disorders with associated ASD, ADHD. And I'm more interested in ASC and AVAS. And I've seen a lot of improvement with the children when I have introduced ASCs. So that's a brief introduction about me. I think I'll pass it on to Bhagya.
Thank you so much. I will quickly introduce Bhagya ma'am out here. So these are our two panelists that we're talking about, and then we'll have our own. So Bhagya ma'am is a tele-practitioner, a licensed and certified speech. Hold on, I will have to just. There you are, you're muted. Right. Welcome, Bhagya ma'am, a tele-practitioner, a licensed certified speech language pathologist working specially with children. She's working with both the geriatric and the pediatric. Welcome so much, ma'am. The floor is yours.
Thank you. I am really glad, and I have to thank you, Chanda, for having us come to the wonderful webinar today. So my name is Bhagya Dinesh, and I'm a certified speech language pathologist. I graduated from Mangalore University, and currently I'm a tele-practitioner. But in the past, I have worked with both geriatrics and pediatrics population in United States. So right now, when I'm a tele-practitioner, I'm extending services between the ages of 3 and 18 years. So that's a brief introduction about me, and I am very happy to share my thoughts and my ideas, and thanks for everyone joining us and supporting us today.
Thank you so much, and welcome once again, Bhagya ma'am. And a final introduction is to our own very own founder, Dr. Chandralata ma'am. I will just.
It's a lot of sound.
Yes.
A lot of background noise.
So now you'll not hear any of the background noises. I will only keep my speakers on unmute rather. So there you will be able to speak to them. So this is Dr. Chandralata. She is the founder of AACAR, someone whose initiative have always been very, very beneficial. She's one who's pushing us, doing a lot of work. I think, Dr. I don't know if pandemic and post-pandemic means the same to you. I think you were working much more in the pandemic, ma'am. Welcome, Dr. Chandralata. Again, you have your friends here, so I'll let you introduce yourself. Please go ahead.
My name is Dr. Chandralata. I'm the founder of AACAR Child Development Center. I founded AACAR at around 2009, and since then we've been working a lot in the pediatric population with children with language disorders, speech and language disorders across various disabilities. Currently, we have tied up with Skies Education in terms of having better educational programs for our children. And this because of the pandemic, I wanted to create more awareness and get more information for my parents, which I was unable to do during my regular session times, because sessions themselves are very they take up all our timing, the planning, the therapy sessions, everything we are into it. So during this pandemic, I thought more and more awareness in terms of various professionals coming together, talking to parents, giving more information to parents, all therapists coming together, discussing ideas and how best can we help our parents. We must make maximum efforts in that direction, and that's why I started with this whole webinar.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that lovely introduction. I think what we'll do is, and I'll move away now with our experts out there. We have 3 sections divided for this particular webinar. We perfectly starting on time. Dr. Chandralata will be the host now, who will be addressing and asking key questions. And could you explain to us what the 3 sections will be? At the end of each section, probably 15-20 minutes, we'll summarize what we learned, and we'll go ahead and we'll take some of your questions, which is on the chat. The floor is yours. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Let me start with thanking all my colleagues out here, all my both Bhagya and Vidya. Let me start with Bhagya first. Bhagya, you are a certified tele-practitioner. So what do you think should actually for a telepractice, what are the key components that is one required?
So telepractice, as the name goes by, it's kind of rendering professional services, speech language and audiology services, via distance learning. So it could be due to various reasons, staffing issues or natural reasons, or parent request or whatnot. So in this telepractice, we are not recreating the wheel. So it's already like the assessment or intervention or designing the program is going to be the same, but it's just it's a different modality of learning or teaching or rendering services. So as always, the professional who is giving services is a certified and licensed speech pathologist with all the credentials, but it's just that we are not meeting in person. We are going to stay off, and we need definitely it's like it's a two-way thing, and the person, like the professional, has to have a computer. The client also should have a computer with adequate internet support and adequate bandwidth. And we also have to have a video conferencing platform where we can share videos or screen, or to kind of make things interesting. And also usually in communication therapy services, child is the focus. As always, child is the focus even in telepractice, but parents are more important than the kids at the moment, because kids who cannot join one-on-one on a computer. I know every child, if you give the phone, they are going to have fun, but we're using phones or computers for a different education and professional purpose at the moment. So in this practice, we have to make sure that we are going to teach or guide the parents ahead of time what is the services about and how it is rendered, and then kind of take over with the child.
Coming to this, Vidya, how have you adapted to this new practice level?
Yeah, so in Indian context, I would say we are pushed to do a telepractice because of the pandemic right now. So we are definitely, we don't have any certification for telepracticing as such. And we have learned this skill. I mean, we've been using it previously also for some 1 or 2 clients who are abroad, but right now it is a bare necessity for us to keep connecting with our children for the continuing therapy and their progress. And as it is suggested, because of this situation we are coming up with, not all the parents have the facility of having a laptops at home, because there is only one father who's using the laptop in most of the houses, who's already busy with his own work. And sometimes parents end up saying that we just have a phone, can we still do therapy? So I said it's okay, because it is a functional need right now and we still can reach the services through the phone. So we have agreed to it. They may not have headphones, or they may not have a big computer or a desktop, but still happens. In some houses there are facility, but the bandwidth is not adequate for the children to have teletherapy. So there is some glitching during the sessions, but still we are able to deliver services and keep the child in progress.
So Bhagya, tell us more about this parent coaching that you were talking about.
Yeah, so currently the population that I'm working is between, as I told you, 3 through 18 years. So when I started telepractice, I was working in a school system where I had a coach. I have to do like a little awareness or, review goals and, service modalities with that one person. But right now, due to the natural circumstances, even my students have been, transferred. We are not doing any more services at school. So it's going to be at the house. So as Vidya was mentioning, I'm having a hard time. Only 50% of my students who were receiving services are kind of, coming online for services due to various reasons, such as, no phones, no internet. So what I did was I did half and half of parent coaching, sending, emails and weekly check-ins via phone or emails about the activities that I can kind of, relate with their goals. And I kind of developed some kind of a functional activities that I can kind of suggest for kids who can kind of sit at the table and do some structured work. And also some, I also kind of, I'm talking to the families, for example, how they can kind of involve the child. For example, if it's like a 5-year-old child, we are working on vocabulary or, attention span or eye contact, or, how they can kind of, help them in the house. So for example, they can use this little helper all over the day. So until the guy gets tired, we can use him. But, talk in a tone, exaggerate your loudness and sing song intonation patterns. Make sure that, you gain the child's attention and motivation before you deliver things. And I kind of, when I talk on the phone or when I ask them to come online, I kind of show them how they can use, good word choices. Instead of this, you can do this. And, I also tell them to talk about first, then. First, let's, be mom's helper right now. And then you get to do this. And then comes the preferred choice, like screen time, or, taking them for a backyard walk, or, making a kite, or, blowing bubbles, or, whatever is the, age of the child and, interest of the child.
Okay. Bhagya, Vidya, you tell me, how are you been practicing, or what are the different modalities that you're using during telepracticing?
So as Bhagya suggested, yes, parent coaching or parent guidance is something very, very important, because not all the children can sit in front of the screen for a long time. So we have to start with parent coaching and some amount of screen time, which can gradually be developed over the time as they connect with the therapist. And as I said, with the parent coaching, so you help the parent. We have already set targets. We've been working in the clinic, so we've set the targets, and we start to devise certain small activities that they can do in front of the camera with the child, and we'll be able to help them whether they are doing it right or not. And they can help them, this is the way it has to be done, and this is how we are doing parent coaching in our parent coaching or parent guidance in our sessions.
Bhagya, what challenges are you facing during this telepractice seminars?
The whole world is having telepractice right now. So the first thing is like, the internet connection, and Zoom is like kind of, having a traffic jam. So that, the internet goes on and off, or, it'll be like, blank face. I can see anyone, or, they can hear me, I can hear them, it's all those in technology issues I'm having. And again, scheduling issues, moms or dads work different hours of the day. They work from home. That doesn't mean that they can devote all their hours to, for the child. Bread and butter is very important for them to run the family, right? So it's like, scheduling issues, finding time. I know they need a me time for the parents themselves. On top of that, they have to take care of the typical children and the special needs in the house. So that is one of the biggest challenges. And what else? After everything, they come to the screen, and then the child starts crying. I don't know this lady. Why is she, what is she talking to me now? Why is she coaching like this? And again, I have to be, very creative and innovative in kind of, understanding the child's goal, the interest of the child, and, make sure that, I plan the session, start the session, or, educate the parents before, in case this happens, what is the troubleshooting technology wise, and, student participation wise. So for example, what I do is, when they come, or, ahead of time, I tell the family that, we're going to work on following one-step directions and vocabulary together. Like, for example, like a 5-year-old. So I tell them that I'm going to, share my screen with you. And I will also, give you the annotate, like, drawing, or, there are some symbols that I can use, like star or heart or something. So, initially the child is not going to do, or, the child would not know what am I trying to tell. So I would say that, you do hand over hand, if they're able to adapt for sharing screen, or, use their touch screen to do things. And then once something comes up, the child would think, oh, I think they're trying to help me in some way, so let me focus. So after 5 or 10, trials, I kind of give them like YouTube videos, or like animated things, where they can kind of enjoy. But I would make sure that I stick on to time, stick on to promises. So I would tell them that first we're going to learn something, then you're going to watch your video. I choose the video before I start the session, like in the sense what I'm going to do. So they're looking forward for something. And
Vidya, tell me something more. What kind of challenges are you facing?
So convincing the parents to come for telepractice itself is a first challenging thing in Indian context, because they are not convinced that whether telepractice will hold a benefit for my child. My child, I mean, screen time is very bad and you're making us to come back again to the screen, but they don't understand it is a productive learning time when somebody is helping them to come up with the targets and the goals that the child needs to develop. So that is the first challenge which I would say. And as Bhagya said, we also have challenges because when there are siblings in the home, they also have online classrooms. So a laptop is not busy, phone is free, but still bandwidth is not enough for taking a session. So you end up taking, from a therapist perspective, you end up taking sessions in an odd hours in the evenings or something like that. But still that's okay. But yeah, so the challenges is to keep the child engaged throughout the session of 40 minutes is definitely a challenge. And the key for this is perseverance, I should say, because when we start initially, yes, to connect to the therapist that I'm in the screen itself, Vidya aunty is coming on the screen itself is something, it's a very new concept for the child. So it gradually develops. And as Bhagya had suggested, so we have activities of small breaks of something that is very interesting for the child, either a YouTube rhymes or remote access games where they can touch something and there is a sound or some star coming up or something like that. So this keeps them active throughout the session. And when there are some sensory children who needs movement break, because they can't sit in front of the session for a long time. So in that case, we say the parents, come, let's go for a round inside the living room and come back, or go open the fridge, take out the apple and come back. So you give a 2-step commands for the parent for the child to move around and then come back and sit there. So these are the small challenges from a therapist's perspective. And another major perspective in this context, I would say, is challenges. Being a clinician who has always been, most often been conventional in the therapy, I have my toy cupboard, I have my resources in hand for any target that I wanted to do. But in context here, I need to have all the digital materials right now available for the child to be able to provide the adequate service for the child. So that is a challenge for a therapist like me, who's not certified and who's not had an experience. So this is a learning and evolving process that we have gathered materials from the internet. Thank God we have Google. Otherwise, we would not have survived.
Google is our friend. Without Google, everyone is going to go crazy.
Google
Thank you so much.
something...
I think Vidya ma'am, you can also have a little entertainment with my little daughters out there behind.
Absolutely fine. It is
I hardly tell them yes or no. I let them, in the pandemic. So this is a little entertainment section, what you can do with your kids around.
Yes, it is very much needed.
My wife calls me Zoom man because I'm Zoom all the time.
Yeah. So Google and Zoom are one blessing at this moment, because Zoom is also free, though there is a lot of security threat and everything, it is easily accessible.
No, I think Zoom has worked a lot. So I'll recap my first session, Dr. Chandalata, if I take the little liberty. So this is the first section where you got the introduction. You can have my Zingy doing her acrobatics behind. But thank you so much. You just summarized what speech therapy is. I love what Bhagya ma'am said, that the world is doing teletherapy right now. We all are actually, but don't you think our lives have become more connected? Today, we have got 2 panelists from all the way from Kerala, one from Bangalore, and this has made the world so smaller. A small 10 microgram virus has connected us in ways you never have met otherwise. That's so true. So quickly, these are 3 things that I took back. Parent coaching is very essential in what we are doing. So anything in the home, I picked up the short home walks and the kind of acrobats your kids can do, something to keep them busy. And finally, there are some challenges, of course, with the idea of understanding what a Zoom is or rescheduling it. this is where I to get quick questions to Bhagya and ma'am and Vidya ma'am. Ma'am, how have you seen the pandemic?
Yeah.
You went to different cities. How have you evolved in this pandemic? What do you see yourself? More calmer, more relaxed, more technology savvy? Quick one pointers from all three of you. I'll get you, Dr. Chandalata, also in.
Yes, I'm more anxious about this because this is where it is going to end. What is the clarity? It is totally uncertain. And you can say that it is definitely, what to say? It's, yeah, some days I felt okay, but then most of it is very anxious because where it is leading, we don't know.
The anxiety. What about you, Bhagya ma'am?
So it's a blessing for me. I am actually in India instead of practicing in Washington, like Seattle, like United States. So I've driven hours together. So this is my choice, what I chose to come here. So it's a blessing for me. But at the same time, you know, I work in US time, so I have to be awake at nights when you guys are happily spending time with your family. You know, I don't get evening walks, evening dinner. So early morning sleep, which is, you know, the most gracious one, I don't get it. So I work like from 8 and 5 or 4 in the morning. And then I don't get again daytime. When you guys are having fun, I don't get to. But, you know, it's going on okay so far. Again, you know, scheduling is very much a big challenge. But everyone, as you said, we are kind of trying to stay safe and, you know, trying to give each other, you know, emotional support and, you know, get going.
Okay, so I'll have a question there and I'll leave that with Dr. Chandalata, and you tell me what's your pandemic routine like. It's from Padmini Nair. Since it's going to be teleconferencing, would they be getting to repetitive requirement due to the digital mode? A question perhaps I'll let any one of the panelists take up, and then over to you for the second section, Dr. Chandalata ma'am.
Generally, I think most of us, you know, during this whole course, we have adapted ourselves. We have changed our routines. We're spending more time with our children. We're kind of coaching them better. We are learning new dishes, as in, you know, connecting more with friends and family members. Like we had this entire Zoom session of our entire batch, and it was very, very, very. We couldn't have done it because, you know, none of us would be at the same time, at the same moment, you know, free to come down and have a Zoom session. But all batchmates decided to come down and have a Zoom session. So again, reconnecting, starting something new. They're always falling short of time, or, you know, thinking different processes in which we could work. So such kind of, you know, during this pandemic, we all have been innovative in thinking and doing things for other people around us. Okay, so let's coming down to all our different, you know, coming back to our conversation. But what kind of reinforcements are you using during your practice?
So Google is our friend right now, but grandma, grandpa always is my, you know, guru, as you said. So I always, you know, learned a lot from my parents and grandparents. So first thing is giving a smile, a touch, a hug, verbal praise. But due to this, you know, not like distancing, I will not be able to hug the child. But what I'm trying to do is have the family, like, you know, mom or dad, who is a coach with the child, hug or, you know, give a, you know, tight squeeze. So it's kind of a sensory stimulation for kids with, you know, sensory needs too. Sometimes they say, I don't want to touch. But, you know, slowly I'm trying to, you know, get that out of them. And verbal praise, wow, and, you know, sing song patterns, and you did it. And always I, you know, show thumbs up or thumbs down. Before I do something, I ask the child, are you ready for work? If the child says like this or like this, I say, I think you should do a little bit more. And he would say, no, I'm done. Then I would always use a lot of emotion words. You know, I'm okay. I'm a big boy. I can do it just for a short time. And then you get to go play with mom. And then you can go play with Legos. You know, some kind of, you know, oh, I have a hope waiting for me. And I'll use a lot of, you know, in the platform that I had before, you know, when you touch, all these animations come, fireworks comes, all of those. But I also use some couple of websites called, you know, which I can share with Chanda later. It's called turtlediary.com, abcya.com, you know, all of those small websites. Depending on the age of the child, you know, for elementary and older kids, I do Connect 4. You know, it's like a two-way game. Either me and, the child plays, or, mom helps the child. Like, I can do a lot with Spectrum Kids, like, some games like this. But for Spectrum Kids, I do, shape matching, or, things like that. And then we have some games like bubble popping. And we do a lot of peekaboo games when the child is like kind of distracted. I do like a lot of peekaboo. I see you, and then I go down, and then I can see, hey, what happened to this lady? Where did she go? And then all of a sudden I come. And then there's a website called gonoodle.com, which my kids teachers do at school for brain break. Like,
Could you spell that? Bhagya ma'am, could you spell that? Go Moodle?
Gonoodle.com.
Go Noodle, all right.
And then, just I do jumping jacks, sit-ups, hands up, hands down, side, up, down, and then I do like a lot of, if you're happy and clap your hands, touch your nose, all of those.
See, we can see one of the child actually doing it.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's actually inviting himself to do it.
I'm so happy. You made my day, whoever that is. And then I do this one, starfall.com. Like there is a bear. The bear kind of rolls and, whatnot. And then, this is a beautiful website. But, as Vidya was mentioning, tele SLPs have to spend a lot of time to pick and choose and put it as a tele library,
Yeah.
And then YouTube is like a vast thing. You have to like those videos and put it as a library for you. And then, a lot of videos are there for spatial concepts and, and then when I pause on, okay, something like putting the ball in the basket or something, I have mom or dad, have some simulations in the house. And I do use a lot of Play-Doh, like, the roti atta thing, or the Terapudi, like, I tell them to put something, and then, they can do something like a sensory break. Okay. So a lot of things, I think, as you guys are, experiencing, you ought to be more creative than an on-site SLP.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very true. What reinforcers are you using, Vidya?
So see, before I talk about reinforcer, I just wanted to mention that when you start with a tele practice, right, start with something that the child already knows. So that he is reinforced personally that he's achieving success there, right?
Yes,
so first start with something that the child already knows, and then go on to something that is little you are targeting for, right? So that is little challenging, and start with something less challenging. And regarding the breaks, as Bhagya said, yes, we can give remote access to them, and then they can play something or something. And in between, we can do the apps, which has some animations which they like. For example, that wheels on the bus can be played in between
we do
when
this.
they like it. And it's sometimes I feel even we don't need such reinforcers for our children, because they love the stars. So I just use the whiteboards to make stars, and they love that. And you have colors in making stars. So you have today, now you've got green star. Now next time you will get a red star. And there are some children who are fixated with certain animals or certain vehicles. So I draw an aeroplane for a child, and she was so happy because she loves aeroplane. So every time she does one activity of a little challenging one, she gets something drawn on the whiteboard, and she enjoys that. And she says, yes, I've collected kinds of. She in fact reaches out her hand for, me to draw there, but I draw it in the whiteboard as I mentioned, kind sort of. So yes, so summarizing whatever Bhagya is doing also we will be doing. And apart from that, very simple things also can help the reinforcing part of the child.
Yes. So, but again, it always depends on the child. As we must know the child, as we know we've taken the therapy for the child, so we know what works for the kid. So depending on that, if a therapist plans well, if they take their activities well, and they can have all the sites that Bhagya has told us about, which are, actually, kind of brightening up, popping stars, or, where the child can blow popping bubbles. So we take the attention, we kind of reinforce the child. We show after regular intervals, we can have poems or things going on. So we are grabbing their attention. We are asking them, or we are, they are there with us in the session. So, and very simple activities like a hug, a smile, a star, a favorite helicopter, favorite dinosaur to be drawn on. So these are some basic things that we can put up, and we can get a very good session done. And we can always encourage parents to use the same. So they also have somewhere or the other, they can engage the child positively with these games and the channels that Bhagya has recommended to us. Thank you so much, Bhagya. Bhagya, what is your span of, seeing some kind of a progress in the child? Like, see, now it's been a month for us. Like, we started sessions a month before. So we started in the month of April. Once we felt, okay, it's going to be a long time, so we only got 1 month. What is your duration in which you have found good progress in children?
So I've been doing this, I think, almost 2 years now, but I had a break, like, due to family reasons and scheduling, my kids' bus trip timings and stuff. I had to pick and choose a school year, like a few years before. And then I went to on-site, and I'm, back to telepractice. But the place where I worked before, they had like, beautiful platforms, and, they have their data taking things like, plus or minus, and, we do, datas, right? So it's all inbuilt in their system. But right now, what I am experiencing is way different. I have to create my own things. But definitely, that is also telepractice. This is also telepractice. So what I'm trying to say is taking data is very important. And then write, stop notes, as often as you can. When you see the child, how are they joining you, pleasant or confused or happy, said hi, or, some kind of words, what they use, they showed a smile when they joined the session. And then, for example, Mary was crying as she joined. As the session progressed, she was very engaged, and, things like that.
Right.
So that kind of gives me, when yearly review or, 3 months review, when I do, it really is very happy. And then, parents are seeing right now, unlike before, right? So I had to be more cautious right now in doing things, because, there are like a lot of, privacy policies, and we have to take, child as a focus and parents as a focus. It's like too much pressure on us, but I think everyone is like, surviving at the moment. So data is the main thing, pre and post. For you guys, you just started, okay? So what I would recommend is take notes, write a small paragraph, in the file, how did you start, and how did the parent, respond to you initially, and how are they after a month? It's like a journaling, how you do a journey. So I am very happy and proud that, my kids are kind of responding to me. My parents are kind of, taking my number, texting, so all of those are happening right now. So it's they are accepting it more.
So I would say, Bhagya, if parents are asking you a lot of questions, that means your session is going very well.
Right. So there is one question. Yeah, there is one question to all the panelists. Maybe it is what can we do for children dependent on AAC device to communicate?
Yes, I was going to ask. So,
and then there is the same parent have asked about the app Awaz. So if you could mention both of it together.
Yeah. So. Do you want me to answer?
Yeah, go ahead, because I have never used Awaz, but I have used.
Let us finish with the segment here, then we can go to the segment. Okay, Vidya, you're working a lot on the documentation part, and you're giving lot of soft signs, soft documents. You are because this is also new for the parents. Just doing the session, just doing telepractice isn't completely helpful. Yes. At the end of the session, we need to spend some time with the parents. We need to give them a positive feedback. We need to also tell them where they have been wrong. So documentation, takes a very important role. How is this going about with you, Vidya? How are you doing this?
Yes, with the conventional therapy, it was much easy for me to write in the communication diary, whatever we maintain in our clinic, that what all things they have to do for this week. But since it is telepractice, I have started documenting every session with my targets. And when I started in the month of April, I had put somewhere about 8 targets. And for 8 targets, each target I give at least 2 or 3 activities. It really takes away a lot of time sitting and thinking for each child and making that activity, because it's quite new, unlike the regular sessions that happen in the clinic. And in between, I had a thought, am I giving too much for the parent? So when I asked back the parents' feedback, they were very clear that I'm so happy that you set 8 targets so that I'm able to focus today 3 and evening sometime 4. So there is no repetition of the activities for the children, and they are happy to sit with us and work. Of course, this is very much relevant to a parent who's enthusiastic about working. Okay, the goals and the targets and the activities can be set by the therapist, but it has to be executed rightly by the parents. And it is the parents' motivation shows the progress of the child, and it's their interest to bring. So the same way, when I said starting of the session, so there was a 3-year-old child who started with me with so much of reluctance. The mother said, we will try. So she was able to give only 10 minutes of attention. And by end of the month, I think she was sitting with us for 30 minutes, that she was able to look, get engaged, and she was able to connect to me back in the session in the telepractice. So this shows the perseverance of the mother, endurance, and they are following the activities very promptly, which has been able to, it has translated into a skill development by end of this month. Maybe, yes, not all the targets have been achieved. At least 1, 2, I mean, I would say definitely 3 targets to 4 targets have achieved, and those needs to be stabilized. I mean, generalized in different contexts also. I can't say that this overall it is achieved, because there is a lot of process of getting into the generalization. So they have moved up, and the documentation, as Bhagya suggested, we started it, and it is very, very useful for us, because every session I put therapist impression on 21st 5th 2020. So need stabilization and needs to be generalized. So I make a mark against each of the target, that what it is, and it gives me an insight into the next session where I have to work, how to plan my activity, and how is the parents' feedback. And there is also inconsistency between 2 sessions. The previous session they might have done well, but this session they are not doing well, but it's okay. It is a process of development. We can't say always they have to be this thing, but it is very positive. Yes.
Also, with that, tell us more about this AAC and the question that was asked now.
So I think the parent had asked about AAC, right? Aavas. So Aavas has a very interesting factor of Aavas live session, in which you can share screen with share the device screen with the client who's using Aavas, and they also have remote control that I can edit and everything. In fact, I tried with one of our friend Aruna, who is sitting, I mean, who is there in audience. But frankly speaking, I have not worked directly with the children in the clinic or in my clientele, because I'm quite new. I'm still exploring the avenues, and my children are little. But we tried and explored the possibilities, and we can still, if anybody is interested, we can still do Aavas live sessions, definitely.
Great. Thank you so much. But it does require, again, the child has to be quite friendly with the tablet or the com thing, because again, the pictures, as I have seen with the entire system, the pictures, there can be a lot of modulation with the pictures. There can be selective pictures that can be present. I think, Vidya, you can show us a little later from your computer, how you have made those pictures for certain parents, and how the children are understanding yes and no, parents, communication, different aspects on Aavas. She's worked extensively on that, so probably I could share, with the parents her insight, and they could understand it better. Okay, now coming towards the intervention process. Bhagya, could you let us know more about the intervention process from babies? How do you start this intervention process?
So Chandra, this is the third section. So before we go to the third section, the third and the last section, and then very quickly again summarizing what our teachers and on what our panelists said. It's always it's good. So you spoke about some of the reinforcers, and then this was one of the reinforcers that Bhagya ma'am mentioned about Go Noodle, because it's very lively and very beautiful. I just put a screenshot of it. And then these are some of the ones that we play with the children. We play with across the stars that Vidya ma'am mentioned about, or drawing a plane on a whiteboard, or some of the common ones of peekaboo and wheels on the bus. Besides that, there are 3 sites I wanted to just pull up and share with all our viewers. There's something very interesting, because you're talking about games and a lot of games are there. This is a very common game. We speak about I Spot articulation, even in my Sky Education.
Bhagya is going to talk about this.
She's going to talk about it. Fantastic.
Yes.
So that's one. 3 quick websites that I'm going to share on the chat with it is all these are free websites. So speaking of speech.com, I'm not sure the panelists would know much better if they have used it, but these are where they especially talk about teletherapy and speech and therapy. There's one called Fun Brain, which really looks very fun with the animals, and it has grade-wise thing. You can see the lovely screen that you've got, grade 5 or something on that. And finally, there's one on, there's a Diary of Wimpy Kid, I love that. And Storyline Online, which is .net, which is also free. Thank you, Bhagya ma'am. So
I use that a lot, yes.
Wonderful. I think you've got some brilliant people out there. So Chanda ma'am, I will share all these for all those who attended it, and it'll be in the recording as well. So we go on to a third section. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Dav, could you make Bhagya the host so she can share her...
She can share. I have already done that.
That's what I think she's done, yeah.
Acha. Okay. Bhagya,
So adding to Vidya's thing about the parent question about ASC, I use a lot of low-tech ASC things, like, pictures, because I am a certified PEX1 trainer. So on-site SLP, as an on-site SLP, I was doing a lot because, I have a specially designed classroom where only spectrum kids or, associated conditions kids are there. But right now it's a mix and match of, language kids and, spectrum and articulation. So with, with my high needs kids, what I do is I send out the pictures for schedule, or, for some simple things, for labeling and all of those ahead of time. I would tell them to, cut and put it in Velcro. And then, I tell mom and, the child to connect and make ownership of, making choices, after the routines are done. Even for, brushing teeth, or, even, dress up. If for dress up, we say, go to the bedroom, choose, and then shower and then dress up. What are the simple things, sequential things? I send pictures, and, it's been working very nice with my, students there. And I also use a lot of signs, like simple signs. Like I'm not an ASL, trained person, but I use more, all done, hi, bye, and help, please, thank you, some simple things, which I learned it from my Google friend. So, you can always use those. And, communication is the main focus. It could be any form, verbal, gestural, words, I also send pictures, or I have them download emotions and put it on the fridge, talk about, how do you feel today, end of the day, sad. And then I always emphasize on exaggerated expression of the, parents, with good loudness, gaining attention of the child before you speak, with varied intonation. So it's a lot of effort. I have 3 kids on my own, and I know how it is. Yesterday, I was talking to my older one. She was really like fascinated. Wow, you did a lot to us now. So I said, thank you. I was really proud yesterday.
Yeah. Bhagya, tell us from, what are the activities that parents can take up from, from babies to, for a 2-year-old. Could you just brush us up what we've learned?
Okay.
Yes. From babies to 2 years, what are the activities that you've been doing with some small children?
Okay. So as always, play, talk, touch, hug, kiss, cuddling, everything comes in the initial part, like, baby through 6 months. But after that, I'm not saying no to all these hugs and, cuddles and everything. But as the baby kind of starts sitting and, crawling and, make the house baby proof. So, so the child doesn't start, teething on things that's not needed. So you have to be cautious about that. And at the same time, you can use all possible things in the house, whatever, like, cup stackers or, colorful, toys, wooden blocks. When the baby is able to sit on the high chair belted, you can kind of throw some, little soft snacks or something, hand-eye coordination, or trying to pick it up and use it. And then you can use flashlight, just to gain attention of the child, and then when you're talking, somebody else can put like some on your eyes, so the child is going to see opening eyes, and that awareness of somebody is talking to me, let me. And then if the child is kind of babbling or cooing, kind of again do like all sing song voices to the child, do peekaboo games, and then do like a blanket, if the baby has a loving blanket, or that the baby cherishes, snatch that from the baby, right? You have to create a demand for communication. So the demand is, taking things out, but, not for a prolonged period of time, and then, asking, give me, or, reaching out to things, some simple things functionally you can do at home. And then when the baby is able to sit or, enjoy dress up, do like, body massages as the baby is getting ready to take a shower, talk about the body parts, counting fingers in the limbs, extremities, and then, when you cut nails for the babies, you can still talk, self-talk, parallel talk. You talk what you're doing, and you talk what you want the child, or in the surroundings, hey, you know what, grandma has come to see you today. Did you see grandma? Take the child and show, and then, have the grandma touch. In this pandemic thing, we are not doing it, over the phone or something, but still you can have the grandma talk on the phone with the child. And then, or, we do like lots of WhatsApp video calls, right? So have them do it every now and then. And, in the evening, if you have a big backyard or a small community, you can dress up the baby, and find a time when nobody else is in the community, in the sense like not too much crowd, take the baby for a stroller walking. So you're doing like a lot of fun things, engaging you, as all, I think in India, too much like dad's work and mom takes care of the child. So, so I'm kind of very worried. Moms also needs a break right now. So I know he's going to yell at me now, but moms needs a break. So maybe taking turns in that way, dads also will kind of get a feel, this is my child, kind of a feel. And then, when
I can see some of my friends have started gardening with their children.
Right.
Hey, you can, yeah. And then you can read books, have a bedtime routine, although, it's no school day or, vacation, have a set routine with the older siblings. Hey, mom is trying to make bed now. You read to your brother or a sister. And then when the baby, 1 year baby or 1.5 years sits on the brother's lap, use your pointy finger to track the words. These are all some small, pre-academic skills you can do. So,
I would like to, continue.
So you can do shapes. Okay, let's do spy games, like for 1.5 years. Can you find this red triangle? I know it's very way ahead of the game, but, still, enriched language is always, better. And then, have the child, engage in activities like, rolling a roti, atta, have the child belted or sit next to you on the kitchen, give a little bit. And then this is like edible, right? Perishable and edible. So it's okay, even if the child kind of, and then peeling potatoes. Those are all fine motor, but at the same time, I think OTs and speech kind of go hand in hand most of the time. So talk to the child, oh, you're doing this, and what is the shape of the circle, whatever vegetable. And then when you're cleaning up the fridge, or, the 2-year-old can kind of stand next to you. Can you hold this for me?
So Bhagya ma'am was already making sure that the children are already helping them in the kitchen as well, right?
Yeah. Yes, I have great helpers.
Yes.
Definitely.
And Vidya ma'am, you want to add something to it? And Dr. Chandra, there are a couple of questions.
Yes. Can I share the screen if you have, give me access?
You have the access.
She's going to talk about toddlers and preschoolers.
Yeah.
We have just one more question for Bhagya, and that's it, and we are here at the end. Then we can take a
As you are sharing the screen, ma'am, I have one question. I'm quickly just taking that. Of course, there was one on
Can you
sibling.
see?
Yes, we can see the screen. Absolutely.
Yes.
Richie ma'am says, and this you can take the answer anytime. Her son, 4 years old, indulges in more pretend play. So should she
Yes,
interfere
I
or let
forgot
him
to
do?
mention that.
I've just mentioned it here in the slide. Yes.
All right, fantastic.
Right. Okay. So yeah. So Chanda has given me about 2 to 5 year preschoolers activities. So if I have to look at it, my first humble request to the parents, just because it is a lockdown time and it is all eased out, no routine. Anytime you get up, anytime you eat, please avoid that and follow a very simple routine of having breakfast or lunch and everything. Maybe even if it is a little delayed, it is okay, but still follow a routine. And within that routine, you have to ensure there is 2 alert hours that you're sitting productively with the child, at least half an hour in the morning, at least half an hour in the evening. So I would first emphasize that very clearly you have to follow a routine. And apart from that, what all things you can play at home is, like, I would say, pretend play. Pretend play, it can be played in very different ways and very possible ways, because the children are more exposed into kitchen and mother cooking at home always. So you can do pretend play with the kitchen set. If you don't have kitchen set at this lockdown condition, you can cook with your own vessels. It's still okay. But the main point here is you have to sit with him and you have to model him the language there. If you just allow the child to do a pretend play by himself, it doesn't make any sense. It is just going to be a more of obsession into the same thing, and they just keep repeating the same dialogues again, not dialogues, the monologues again and again. It has to be a dialogue. So if he is cooking something, you say, mama is very hungry, can you make something for mama? Can you make poha? Can you make dosa? So the child makes and gives. Oh, lovely, thank you. Even if the child doesn't initiate, please make sure that you are speaking for the child when you do the pretend play. Pretend play, not only kitchen set, kitchen play you can play restaurant game. Definitely children are missing out outside food. So you can imagine that you're making pizza, you're making burger with whatever things that is there in your home. Make more imaginative play. And yeah, the last one I can talk about pretend play is cleaning the cycle workshop game, or cutting the hair. I think most of the salons and saloons are closed, and in most of them would have have haircut at home or not have haircut. So you can just have a haircut at home by having a paper, scissors, and a spray. That's it. You don't need anything except some small towel that would help you having a pretend play. And simple hide and seek between the mother, child, and the father works wonderful. And it is such a fulfilling game for the child and the parent. Despite the fact they are not able to go out and play, it is a wonderful game. And I would talk about draw and speak. And so most of the children love to scribble on the wall. So I generally say my clients to have a corner for where they can scribble. So if they scribble, you can ask what you have drawn. If he's not able to tell it out, you imagine, oh, is looking like a giraffe? Is it looking like a tree? You can just add on language to what he is drawn. If he's drawing more sensible, he should be able to say, yeah, this is the sun, this is a smiley, something like that. So draw and speak help the child to be more creative and more coming up with the words. And bowling games with old plastic bottles. I'm talking about the lockdown situation where you can't access to toys, where you can't find something new you have to show to the children. It's not that you have to show the same toys, they get bored. So you can just collect bottles and keep it there, bowling game, and you can take turns, one time you, one time me. So you are establishing turn taking with the child. And I think Bhagya has already told about involving in cooking. So making salad, making lemonade, and
That's
basically keeping them engaged even if you are busy in your kitchen. Okay, either mother can talk self talk about what she is cooking for the child, or she can give a command, open the fridge, give me 1 tomato, or she can just say that okay, you want to cut this, I will help you, or you can transfer it to the next bowl, something like that. So keep the child with you, occupied. Give them little tasks to do. Even if they mess around, it's okay. Nobody bothers if it is unclean because nobody's going to visit you right now. Okay, and involved in chores, right? So in this, I would say that so the mother has washed the dishes, the child can keep the dishes back in the cupboard, and loading the washing machine, the dirty clothes can be washed, and I Spy game where what you are seeing, and or guess who. I mean, it's a fun school game, but it's available outside in e-platform, but it's okay. And you can play Uno cards with your children. If no Uno cards, play even ordinary cards. That's enough. That will give you a sense of that you're also doing numbers, you're also playing with him, you're taking you're taking turns, and it helps them. So a small, simple routine of, half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the evening will really help them. And also that story time, as she said, I've not mentioned it here, but story is something very, very important in language development. It is the most important tool for expansion of language. So any day, even if you don't have storybooks, there are a lot of resources available in Google. I have added it on some of this. And so you can use that. You can also create your own story. It's not that you have to depend on books or depend on this thing. You can create your own stories. And this is something which I can talk about what are the materials which I've used. So this is something about the visual schedule for a child. Wake up, brushing teeth, toilet, breakfast, work time, and then 3 plays there, video time, lunch time. So they have some routines, so you can show them visual schedule and follow the day. And these are some yesterday and today activity sheets which you can send to parents. These are some Google images. In this, you can ask, where is the child? What is the child doing? Where is he sitting? So, and these are some matching activities that, Shiloh matching that you can do. So these are some of the examples that you can, we use in telepractice. And these are some of the resources for telepractice. That is storyweaver.org, book-our story, this thing. Boom cards, I think Bhagya had mentioned. Pinterest has lovely cards and visual schedules and n number of things that you search for. And there are some apps, I would say My Home Light app is a very wonderful tool for giving them break, and also picture description and all the stuff. So this is from my end.
Thank you, Bhagya. That
Yes.
was excellent, amazing,
Okay.
all that effort. Thank you so much. I'm sure
Yeah,
all the therapists on board will take a call on this and improve our probably another 1 month of telepractice. So Bhagya, tell us more about for the elder population, what are the activities that you are taking?
Okay, so I was kind of thinking about although there are two things, chronological age and developmental age, right? So chronological age is the actual date of birth, like the age of the child, versus developmental age is the performance, the level at which the child is performing. So for example, a 10-year-old is performing at the level of 4 years or 5 years. We can pick and choose some activities with what Vidya suggested. If a 10-year-old has some language and articulation issues, like reading comprehension, or unable to do some executive functions, in organizing things, or stuff like that, as moms and dads, you can get help from therapists, and plan your day for the kids, and put a check mark, what is done, and helping in homework, helping in self-care, all of those small little things, like spectrum kids who are high performing, they are able to verbalize things. Sometimes they lack in emotions, they lack in turn taking, engaging in conversation, commenting, all of those things. It's all that adds on. So you can kind of maybe watch a YouTube video, like a story with them, or read a story, and always reading. It's very, very, very important. You can read picture books, talk to them, have different endings. What do you think? Why do you think? What could? Why could? All of those questions. I know, sometimes the kids would, oh, I'm done with you. So when they are like kind of, the mom and dad has to play a scene where, oh, I think I forgot. What did you say? Can you come again? So, first time the child would say, this is a blue ball. And then the next time the child would say, this is a big blue ball that, grandma got for me. They add on details. You need to pretend, and, all of those things can happen. This, what else? So expansion activities can be, reading is the big one. And then, you can have kids help in the kitchen also again. All these, it's all repetitive. So age is not the only criteria. So the main focus is communication, right? So listening is very, very important. If the child has hearing loss or the child has cochlear implants, make sure you have the batteries on, the hearing aids are on, cochlear implant is working well. And also if the child wears glasses, make sure, the child wears, because vision, cognition, and hearing is very, very important. I always go over whole body listening skills with my older kids. Put a thinking cap on. You're going to think, okay? I don't want just blabber words come out. I know you are a great thinker. So zipping mouth when the other person is talking, these are some social skills you can kind of train, because now mom and dad are kind of in the home. So this training can help when, in the future, when things open up, taking people to restaurant, maintaining like a good boy or a good girl sitting at the table. So now if you practice some table tasks, drawing or coloring with the child, with, emphasizing on these whole body listening skills, when you take the child to a restaurant, the child is able to sit with you for 20 minutes at least until the food comes. You know what I mean? So you can do like a lot of vocabulary games. You can use the online websites, write some words for, the child, and then, you can sit and find synonyms, antonyms. Many of the things what I'm trying to talk is in the context, because I'm working in a school in US. But, different things, but, the energy is same. Kids are kids. So social skills, there or here, it's very much same. And then language, there or here, we use different type of tests to find out, but, the components of language is same. So, we have to kind of train mom using, if the child is, bilingual, this is a great time to introduce simple things, for the second language to come in the younger population. So, a lot of conversations, a lot of, paper pencil activities, coloring, shape matching, alphabet matching, working on, beginning sound, ending sound, 3-letter word matching, all of those. I think mom and dad, if they have any social emotional needs, oh, you know what, oh, my kid is not doing this, always you have your phones on, tell mom, I am ready to help you. I tell dad that I'm ready to help you. You can reach me anytime.
So it says your presence is more important than your presence, and there's no better time than the pandemic for what we're doing.
Yes, that's what I'm.
Bhagya ma'am, in fact, what you just mentioned, I think a lot of us adults need those social skills, because the Zoom classes, you have to tell them shut your mouth, and I will be making notes for my own colleagues now. But I think thank you so much for being here.
Pinterest has a lot of things like perspective thinking. You can talk about those things. Think before you speak. These are good things for adults too. Executive functions, self-care, self-discipline. As the kids grow up, depending on the developmental age, pick and choose. And in case any questions, you can let Chanda, have our emails or phone numbers shared, so, they can contact us.
Absolutely.
I'll be happy to talk to any one of you all.
Thank you so much. I think I'll let Chanda ma'am do the summary of what we did. And actually also wanted to speak to you, Dr. Chandalata. You've opened your center for therapy, of course, in very limited capacity, but that's a very brave and a very welcoming and a generous move. Could you tell us more, and we'll end up on that note, ma'am? Thank you so much.
See, now for children who have not been benefiting a lot with telepractice, and parents have been, at the tether hooks, what is to be done. Children are not taking bath, children are not washing hands, or children, there are some sensory issues which are not able to be tackled at their own end. For such children, for a month, the children have been seeing only their parents. It's been really difficult it's been very, very difficult for them to tackle beyond a month. The parents who've been coming to me are telling me, ma'am, they're so tired of seeing our faces. They're so frustrated with us. We're not able to do anything, because for their frustration level. So you please start with therapy. Give them certain amount of therapy. So along with lot of care, hygiene, sanitizers, as well as continuously washing hands, continuously sanitizing the toys, continuously sanitizing the entire environment, having some kind of a protective gear for the children, wearing masks, therapists wearing masks, therapists wearing protective gear. We're making a lot of effort we are having breaks during therapy so that everything can be sanitized again for another child to come in. One child, one room. So we have dedicated that entire room for that child. No other child enters the room. Parents are called only after 2 hours, So there's only one parent or one ongoing therapy which is going on in one room. We made that, and the child interacts with only one person. So as far as possible, we maintain the distance protocol. However, after every session, there's change of clothes, there's change of, cleaning hands, using hand sanitizers. There's constant cleaning and, maintaining the, the therapy, whatever protocol that has been given to us. That's what we are doing. And parents are very happy. They are, most of them are, they're constantly telling me, thank you, ma'am, thank you for starting, thank you for, doing such a kind of a thing.
I think we also would like to thank you, Dr. Chandralata, for all the initiatives you're taking, getting your best friends, sometimes bullying them to come on them. Isn't it, Vidya ma'am? Forcing them to come, and even on Saturday evening. But thank you so much, all of you. Dr. Bhagya ma'am, we wish you fly back to your, home again. But thank you so much for being here. There we are, fingers crossed. Absolutely. Yeah. And all of you who are, we are as a participant, we almost at 50 we touched in. Thank you for all the time. I saw some of them making notes, asking questions. Hopefully we'll come back again. Even post-pandemic, I think, ma'am, there was a request that to continue the webinars.
Yes. I would like to say there are certain takeaways from Bhagya ma'am. So yes. all the therapists or people who have spoken to you, if they can get back to me or get their emails, and then we will send them the takeaway personally, because that is more of a therapist kind of a tool. So right. Bhagya has been really generous in sharing quite a lot of takeaways, and I'll send it to the therapist.
Wonderful. Noted.
Once their emails are with us.
Yes, please send your emails. We'll send a recording and the presentations that have been shared to the panelists. Thank you once again, everybody. Thank you so much. Stay safe, stay protected. Best social distancing is webinars, but hopefully we'll keep learning from you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chanda. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.